Hello everyone, welcome to our demo today. We will be taking you over as to how you can create your work order using the JDE Edwards Enterprise One application and the Oracle Field Service Cloud. So let's go over what JDE Edwards Enterprise One really is. JDE Edwards provisions you in order to manage your enterprise resources. It lets you create your work orders and have them integrated with the Field Service Cloud in order to have them into activity. So let's get right into it. This is a JDE Edwards Enterprise One homepage. So upon clicking this particular button, we go on to the actual application. Alright, so in order to create a work order, you press on this button of Add. This takes us to the form that we'll be filling in order to create a work order. So let's look at the fields that we have in here. The first field we have is the order number. This specifies the unique number that identifies the order we are placing. So we'll put in the information of the order number. Next to it, we have the order number code, for which we'll put in WN. Now these are being specified by the JDE Edwards Enterprise One application itself. Next up, we type in the order type. For this one, we have 4. We are using it and we can also expand it on to show it to you what it really means. Upon selecting number 4, we are actually making a selection for the lift maintenance type work order. Let's select this one. Next up, we have the equipment number. For this, we'll expand on it and see the options that we have. Alright, so the unit number that we are looking for goes by this, VMM96. Alright, so the description is of the motor. Let's select this one. Next up on the list, we have the product model. Now this specifies the product model that we have that is installed on the lift. We'll filter this out as well to find out the adapter type. In fact, the adapter model. We can see it in here that the list already has this, so we don't need to search for it. Let's select this up. Next up, we have the product family. This specifies the name that the product actually has. Now the family has already been populated as Access. We don't really need to go into the detail of that. Next up, we have the description. The description that we are putting in is lift maintenance, as the order type suggests. Secondly, we have the failure description. Now, since our adapter in our lift has went off, this is what we will put in the failure description. Alright, and the last piece we have on this one is the case number. And the case number we'll put in is 4. Every other order has a case number associated with it. Next up, we have the customer number and the site number. These are again unique identifiers for the order. Alright, so the next piece of information that we'll be putting in is the information that we are sending into the Field Service Cloud in order to retrieve the corresponding information. The email address that we are putting in is the email address of the customer that we have. You can put in the information of the street and the phone, but the required information actually is the city and the postal code. So on the city field, we'll put in FM, symbolizing Florida. Now this is where our customer is actually resided, and we want to be able to tell our field service offices this is where we need to deploy. Upon entering the postal code, we'll press in the Get Capacity button in order to retrieve the information against these fields from the Field Service Cloud. Now as you can see, the schedule tab has already been opened for us. Now this is where we need to now schedule the appointment for the field service. First up, we'll select the work order area. Now this work order area has been retrieved from the Field Service Cloud upon entering this particular postal code and city. Next up, we select the date for which we want to appoint a field service officer. So considering that we want the appointment to be done and taken today, we'll select the date for today. Next up, we'll select the time slots. Now the adequate time we want to take for this particular customer is from 8 to 10. Let's select this one. And we'll see that these two have been highlighted right here in these fields. These fields have already been populated upon our selection. Next up, we put in the work order time. Now again, this is the same that we took, that we selected in the above fields, which was the lift maintenance. The duration that we are assigning this particular work is of 60 minutes. So this is what we will enter on in this field. Next tab we go into the planning. So we need to be able to plan the whole maintenance. So the status of this particular work order is still a request one. So we will go into the filter and see if we have one. So this is the code that we have for the lift maintenance request one. So let's see if we find it out. There it is, maintenance work request. So this is still a request, and that is what the status is actually symbolizing. All right. Next up, we have the estimated hours. So we are believing that this will take 2 hours maximum in order to get it together. Again, the downtime has been 2. It has been down until 2 hours now. The actual hours that it will take for the maintenance person to get it together will be again 2 hours. Again, this is all based on estimates. So this can be anything varying on your experience. The actual downtime again is what we are selecting as 2. You can again select it as per your experience. Alright. So the finish date, now since this is a very urgent task and we want to be able to get this done with by today, so we are going to select the requested and the planned date as the same. So this is the requested date, that is today. And for the planned date, we are again selecting today. The next field that we need to pay heed to is the priority field. Now since we are actually assigning this task, this order on an urgent basis, we're going to select the priority as urgent, which goes by the code of 2. We'll select the parent work order number. Once done, we will select the order details. Alright, so in this particular tab, we need to specify the branch that we have. So the branch that is actually creating this order, that is what we need to filter out. The branch code that we are looking for is 29. And this is the particular branch that is requesting this particular order. Next up, we select the accounting tab. Now in this tab, we just need to specify the business unit. All the others are up to us as we wish to fill them. So the business unit is the same as the branch that we had selected earlier. So every other branch has a business unit associated with it. Once done, so we are done with the order creation. Let's save and continue this. So as you can see at the right side, we have the processing status being displayed. That shows that our order is in the process of being created, and this will be reflected in the field service cloud, which I'll be showing you momentarily. So the screen that follows after this creation will be one where we can further edit out the information that we have just inputted and see if there is any change that we need to make. So this is taking a little while. So in the field service cloud, a work order that is actually created in JDE Edwards Enterprise One application is actually symbolized as an activity. There, the work order is actually considered as an activity. That is assigned to the field service officers that are provisioned and that are ready to process this particular request. is how a field service cloud looks like. Alright, so the processing has been done. So this is the screen that actually lets us further edit the work order. So since we're done with it, let's close it out. And let's go to the field service cloud. Alright, so upon refreshing, because we have just created that work order, and let's see if we have it over here. Alright, so this is exactly the work order that we had created there, and that is now symbolized as an activity in the field service cloud. Now, in order to assign this activity to a particular field service officer, like SALIC provision here, we drag this particular activity and drop it for the officer. Now, SALIC has this particular activity assigned to him. So that is it from our side. Thank you very much.